main character of this series, because I think that's what they need if they're going to upset and make it to semifinals.
Well, here we are into the draft for game number 1 already. A couple of key picks being taken away here. If you're thinking of Zeus, I mean, all they need to do is ban Aatrox, and it's his 3 most famous picks. But of course, the Yone is likely aimed towards Zeka. They're pretty greedy over the side of Humble Life Esports. They've taken the 2 best Yone players and put them on the 1 team.
I wonder if, because Varus is still available, they're considering just letting the Kalista through and playing Varus into it. They banned the Skarner, so Kalista is going to be up. We'll see if Team Liquid actually want to just go ahead and lock that in.
I mean, I think
they
should.
read this
Poppy and Talia are both taken away already. It's a lot of the things that this Kalista is afraid of. And you mentioned Yon, like, give him the priority pick and see whether he can carry. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Let's see if Viper just wants to snap this Varus in, or if he'd prefer to play the Ashe into this Kalista. The Varus will outrange, the Ashe obviously slows and makes Kalista's life miserable. It's one of the old school counters to this pick.
Yep.
Find out if they do lock that in just a moment. As Draven, so fighting fire with fire, that's the other option.
Yeah, that would certainly be a little bit more of an aggressive choice, as they are still considering it for the moment.
Yeah. Don't necessarily need to lock a support in.
You don't even need to lock in an 80 carry, to be honest. You can leave that one for as long as you like, at least until the next ban phase, like pick it on 3 if you'd like to. But things have kind of stopped here, just a little. And it is going to be the Vi that comes on in. So Vi, I think, has been under a lot of understandable flack. There's some criticism here for this champion. But Peanut's been really good at it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a very strong Vi player, even though he had a bit of a stinker on it, as the analyst did point out earlier. But it opens up so much of the champion pool we haven't really seen yet for Zeka. The Talia is a great pairing, obviously, but even something like the Ahri, even though it isn't tier 1 meta right now, still works incredibly well with both the Vi and the Draven, because you lock down a target, you charm them, there's the burst damage, the Draven gets the reset, or gets the stacks rather, gets the kill there, and then you end up having a strong mid-game where you can snowball incredibly well. Love the Cassante here, because the Cassante just says straight up, you know, it's going to be hard to break through this. Now, when the Renata was taken away, I was like, what can they win this matchup with? Because, you know, Kalista Renata beats almost anything, and Delight's got his hands on now an opportunity to potentially dwarf that, you know, get some nice hooks. Can also be a big roaming support on this pick, but I think when you're playing into Kalista Renata, you're probably not going to have that much free time to get out of the lane.
No. So the Pyke is going to be taken away here by Delight. Draven Pyke is an extraordinarily aggressive lane, but I can sense it. Like, I can feel, I can hear Azael. He's like, yes, boys. This is what we want. Impact on a tank. We want Yon to have as much power as possible. And that man on your screen right there, yes, he looks very stressed, but that's just what Swiffer looks like most of the time.
That's true.
And so I think he's done a great job in the first half of the draft thus far. So the draft has ran away. There was a Tristana ban, so that is confirming that at least the Pyke is locked in, unless we did have that weird bug where, unfortunately, you can't, like, just accidentally lock the next champion along.
Okay.
But no, we're back up.
I think it was just fixing the countdown timer, so now we can actually see how much time remains, as that was being a little bit funky earlier. But Maokai's gone here now. Fantastic pairing with what Team Liquid already have, so I love that ban. Cassante kind of hard countered by one of Zeus' best champions. Like you mentioned with Peanut, like also one that you didn't perform that well on in the last time he played it, but obviously very strong.
He's had some great games on the Vi, so not one of those things that you're as worried about.
And like the Gnar is one of the best answers. It gives you so much flexibility in this draft. Can work well with the Vi. See what else they want to take away from him here. Silas, in fact, actually will be taken away. And that's great considering how powerful it is to steal the Renata ultimate in this draft and can really warp how the Kalista wants to play things out. If you actually berserk a Kalista and she starts ripping through your own team's backline, it's a disaster.
And I wonder whether they're going to focus on getting some sort of frontline here on the side of HLE. Like a Sion could just be locked in. You could just have a tank battle on the top side of the map. Kind of ignoring each other, things like that. That could be a way that they could tackle this. Or they could just grab something that's a little bit more flexible, like an Aurora, for example, could go top or mid lane.
I'm concerned about Ahri because I don't think it's enough damage to break through this tanky Cassante necessarily. as we'll take that down for just a second again, but we'll give you guys an update when we can.
The draft is pretty shy in this particular game as we get into series number 2, and understandably so, right? There is so much on the line. All comes down to this, to see whether it's going to be TL that can drag themselves into the playoffs and thus kicking out top esports, or whether TL are going to be going home. Thankfully, everything is still in their hands. Like, if TES had won our first series, this would have meant not a whole lot, right? It's just Humble Life Esports building some momentum heading into the playoffs. And instead, we get Team Liquid with their life in their hands, trying to take down the Titans.
And
a lot of fun.
I feel like they have a pretty good start to this draft. We'll see how it eventuates, of course. But they had some good bans in the second phase. Big question for me is what Zeka is playing, obviously, because you have the Vi synergy with so many champions and so many champions that Zeka is known for, but they don't necessarily fit into Cassante. I think the Cassante is a big power point here for Team Liquid because they have a robust front line for Yun to carry on this Kalista.
Yep.
This is the kind of Team Liquid draft that you like if you've been following them domestically, you've been following them in their best games this tournament. This feels like a winning draft for them, a draft that plays to their best strengths. Impact on Cassante, I mean, that's exactly what you want. Not even as Azale is just going to be like, that's what I need, yes.
And I think that we've seen it a lot of times before, like on blue side, you grab Kalista, Renata, and Cassante. You haven't really given away too much about your composition, right? As we are getting back into Champion Select once again. We are going to travel all the way through. We'll see where the changes are going to occur, because League officials have restarted the draft with the same picks and bans to address the issue with what was going on. So we'll just go all the way through exactly the same ones. So if you want to sound really smart to the people that just tuned in now, Wolf, you can predict exactly what's going to be locked in.
So one of the things we could talk about here is the fact that Humble Life could have taken the Renata away, and it felt like a very intentional choice to grab Vi instead. And in order for that to make sense, we have to see what Zeka is going to be playing here. And they've kept it a bit hidden from us, right? We don't know just yet what he's going to go for. And that's the big X factor. I mean, that's the information we don't have. They could have locked it there as well and kept the Pyke hidden. They put that in face-up as well. So this is not how Korean teams normally draft. Normally, they would take the Renata away 100% in this scenario if they're going to play something like a Draven. They seem to have some sort of answer with this mid lane pick for Zeka. See the Gnar taken away because of the matchup into Cassante and Zeus' proficiency on it. The question really becomes, what are we going to see in terms of that mid lane matchup? And in just a second, we're going to find out.
Looking forward to it. The Maokai makes a lot of sense. Of course, Onti has really gravitated towards that pick. I think it's the only one that he's played more than once here at this tournament. And so not going to have that very sort of stable pick as Ryze. Yeah, that's an option. We are so mid-range. Like there is just not a massive amount of range on either side.
Yeah, no team is going to shoot far.
No.
At least so far. We'll see. That could change. But
unless we've got some The Shy energy, putting the Kalista into the top lane for impact, and it's going to be mid-lane Cassante like he used to be in the past, and Yon's going to play Caitlyn, and that would be a lot more range. But that sounds like a lot of things that aren't going to happen. As Ziggs, speaking
in the mid-range.
This is also APA Ziggs. This is huge comfort in this draft for TL.
This is what a lot of people were perhaps expecting to see yesterday, but it ended up being piloted by Yun. APA is very well known for playing his Ziggs, and will be able to match a lot of the wave clear of the Ryze. So I think that's in part why they end up going with it. It's great for the damage profile as well. You know, you want to have a big mage in the mid lane when you have this Kalista and you have the Cassante locked in top side. And Pantheon will actually be the jungle round out here for Team Liquid. So a lot of global threat here as well. Long range engage, and also the ability to set up that follow-up bomb from APA. This draft looks phenomenal for Team Liquid.
I really like it. I actually feel like Pantheon as well suits Umpty's playstyle really effectively, right? Like, this is a guy that plays a lot of Xin Zhao.
No way!
That's Kale!
We have seen this before, but it has been a while, Atlas.
Yeah, I saw a bit of Kale being spoken about on Reddit a little while ago, but that is all I've really seen.
Yeah, get your clocks out, everybody.
Oh, God, yeah.
I gotta say,
the Monk and W's got to get in that chat.
I mean, it gives them the ability to follow up pretty well with the Kale ult with the Vi, and Realm Warp will be able to match some of the Pantheon. So it's not just like that Team Liquid can completely run around the map faster than Humble Life Esports. They have their own big global threat in the Ryze, and if they can get on top of the backline, this composition does wonders. I think the Ziggs is really what saves this draft for me for Team Liquid. It makes me feel like it's robust because it is not going to be shooting far, but it will be casting spells from far away and will allow you to kind of outrange. And if you can hit those skill shots repeatedly and kind of chunk away at HLE Esports before they actually go in for that engage, you're going to have a great time. And when they do decide to heavily commit, you have the Renata ult to deny that entry. So you can play it slow and then allow Yun to clean up after that Ziggs bomb chips away. I feel like this is going to come down to execution because the Kayle is also pretty weak early into this type of composition. So
I was here versus Genji. No. I believe in General Umpty. I don't know whether, like, okay, you might have been here for General Umpty, but what about Jin Air Umpty, right? Remember, this is the guy that killed Faker in the jungle 94 minutes. Right? This, like 2018, million years ago, the longest game in League of Legends competitive history. And it was Umpty that pulled that final trigger. If there's ever more pressure than that, it doesn't exist in my book. So all of the naysayers, you've had some points, honestly, like throughout this tournament, but maybe not today.
Peanut is dead?
No, he's not. He respawned.
Well, he was dead.
Huh.
And I suppose we're going to replay what happened there.
No, I don't want to replay. I don't want to replay. Can we request no replay? I want you to try and surmise how this happened. Okay, we're going to replay.
I don't have to anymore, but no summoners otherwise used, and he just, I mean, yeah, it's Pantheon level 1. Okay, big win here for Team Liquid, and
Yun gets
picks up the first blood. Massive here for the Kalista start.
All right, so as far as things going about as well as they possibly can, that's a lot of boxes ticked.
Yes.
Here for TL thus far. We have, I do want to, be devil's advocate just a little bit, as APA's got a short fuse. That means that these trades early on work out very nicely for the Ziggs.
Remember, this is the #1 global power ranking team, by the way,
yeah.
on Life Esports, defending LCK Cup champions, defending LCK champions as well. Up against North America here, right? And TL being the representative from the LTA. And they have a great start. They have a fantastic draft as well.
And I do want to say that, okay, there's another handshake here as Delight's going to have to undertow back. And he will get some of that gray health back, as you can see, as he dips out of vision. So thankfully, Pyke is Pyke, so does have that regen available. But yeah, I think there was some liberties taken in this draft. Let's just say, like we need to address the elephant in the room.
I'm sure.
I think Dandy was a little bit lax on let's stick with the meta. Let's just say that. There's not a lot of tanks to speak of.
I mean, look.
And this isn't necessarily looking very standard.
I mean, look, HLE Life have first seed on lock already.
They do.
Now, they can go undefeated, of course, with the win here. They have first place, though, on lock, no matter what, because they have the head-to-head with CFO, who would have the even score with them if they end up losing this game. As I may have to hold my thoughts on this, as no, we're not really going to have a battle.
Top of the morning to you, Umpty.
But I also spoke with Viper yesterday, kind of alluded that they've been practicing some eclectic picks of Zeka.
Yeah, gonna have to flash. A lot of respect to Umpty there, who does have point-and-click CC.
I mean, he just teleported back to lane. It's a huge chunk for APA to get before teleporting back himself. He went Comet. And so that's going to allow him to, with those early short fuses, trade really well.
Oh dear. Umpty already lit on fire here as the Vault Breaker comes down. Undertow going to be flashed out of the way of. So Umpty will survive for now as the handshake just barely going wide. Viper already down to about 50% in this lane, as we can see.
In defense of Umpty, I mean, this is normally what you want to be trying to do when you have a Kalista lane that has Prio in the 2v2 is start to get into the enemy jungle. Unfortunately, he and Core JJ and Yun were a little bit disjointed, and the wave wasn't crashing or anything like that, so it was tough for them to come over and assist him instantly there. So he does end up getting punished. So losing Flash there, not ideal, but at least the game plan made sense, in theory.
Yeah.
I'm trying to always defend the general, you know.
No, absolutely. Sometimes he just doesn't need defense because he just makes the right calls. But other times, we do need to come to his aid. As he is now going to look for Zeka once again, wandering forwards. And Peanut might be able to contest this smite.
I mean, they have Prio in mid, they have Prio in bottom, so Umpty's trying to get what he can.
Oh, Peanut able to come over and take that one away.
Skates in.
Yeah, Umpty unable to press the smite button in time, unfortunately. Does mean that Peanut won't have it for this red buff, though. So maybe the last laugh will belong to the general. Stand aside, going to be used onto Core JJ and Yun here as Delight tries to take down Core JJ, who flashes out of the way of the turret here as the Rend. Not enough. and that's 2 turret shots taken from Jan.
Minus barrier 2 here. CoreJJ burning both summoners, and suddenly...
In the meantime...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Umpty's using his Prio Atlas.
He is indeed. As APA throws flowers on the ground, and the back actually working out. Oh, beautiful
Good
use
handshake.
of the handshake.
And they know that Peanut's topside, so it's not going to be a huge deal or anything that there's a bit of a disconnect between these two players for just a moment, but it really takes the wind out of the sails. Remember, this was just seconds ago. A Draven that had to walk away from his turret and give up farm into a disaster.
Undertow going to go wide there as it's a great handshake, but Delight hadn't touched CoreJJ yet. And so therefore the turret does not get upset. And he walks away.
This is one of the wildest and weirdest
so
bottom
weird,
lanes
man.
ever. We're just trading back and forth as now Peanut's got the advantage here.
Yeah, APA going to move over. Not a lot of blue stuff, so isn't going to commit to anything. Peanut will be able to steal away these wolves.
Umpty has unfortunately spent a lot of time trying to use the Prio, but has actually been unsuccessful in getting a lot of these big picks. So now he's going to lose some of his jungle here, and Peanut actually takes a significant farm lead. You can see, despite dying early, he's actually finding himself 250 gold up right now, at least for the moment, on Umpty. As after the shenanigans bottom lane, Hanwha got back control. Now they could take a reset here. They weren't able to get the kill onto CoreJJ, but Delight didn't have to flash or anything like that, didn't pick up turret aggro, and Viper's going to now catch this wave. You can see the CS pretty even as this wave crashes here between the two. And Umpty tried to use that Prio that they had, but it's not going to be as aggressive as it has been thus far. Impact's had a winning lane because it's early game KO. APA is outranging Zeka, laning really well, had that advantage there. So Umpty was constantly trying to use that, but just hasn't been able to find big solid advantages just yet, and the game remains even.
Yeah, Zeus managing to hit that first evolution. Of course, you really want to get to level 16 before you're absolutely terrifying. And even then, if the game state has fallen out of your favor, then it can be a little bit of an issue, as Viper is just wandering underneath the turret. Impact is just not really going to worry about it at all.
If you can't beat a Draven that hard with Kalista, go find the Kale. I bet you can win that one super hard.
You're definitely going to win that one. That being said, I mean, the Kalista matchup into Draven should be really hard for Kalista, but it isn't actually the case, as, of course, this Kalista did manage to get that first blood. Now also has the, like, steel caps? I don't know. Very aggressive, defensive choice, but will make sure that you're not taking too much damage from this this Draven. And they say that if you do have, like, a big extra advantage, investing in a defense is oftentimes more valuable.
Absolutely. I think that is definitely the truth, and Delight is aggressive here.
Yeah, he's like, actually, would prefer not to.
We have seen Delight a lot of the time in this game coming close to people, not hitting them, and then going away really fast.
Yeah. But that does feel like pipe.
But, you know, I think that while Kalista normally doesn't have a huge, you know, matchup win into Draven, when the Pyke is on the other side and isn't finding anything, and some of those trades are going forward, you have the Renata where you can always win that all-in with bailout. You have to respect it. But after some shenanigans, they end up going topside, getting some extra edges here, while Viper was bottom lane into the Cassante, and this gives Hanwha the opportunity now to reset and swap back, but they lost a little bit of tempo, so Yun has actually caught back up. His Goldie's going back up to that first blood lead he had earlier, after he had dropped down quite substantially, and the CS was even. Now he pulls ahead a little bit once again, so some good macro here from Team Liquid, what they're known for. Yes, lane swaps in the traditional early game sense have been removed from the game, but you can still swap later on and do things like this. So a good tempo move from TL now.
Oh dear, there's a handshake. It's very polite, but maybe not so much, as Delight is going to be able to at least escape for the moment. Does get into the mists.
It was a firm handshake, Atlas.
That was a very firm handshake. That's the kind of one where obviously the dad doesn't want you dating his daughter. Is okay. Peanut diving forward, finds the cease and desist, but Young gets underneath his turret, and now the grand skyfall comes down. Umpty going to be able to grab Peanut one more time for the second kill. We're getting close to picking up one of these feats of strength, as Viper not going to get caught by the ultimate from this Renata. They are going to be able to disengage, but not without losing their jungler.
Yeah, that showcases so well what Team Liquid's comp can do. They have Fate's Call to buy some additional time, and then the global presence of the Pantheon. You can turn on a dime so incredibly well with this, and they do just that. And with the Prio they've had, I mean, APA is there, has the follow-up, and end up grabbing that kill. Phenomenal start here, Umpty. The big ultimate, utilizing this Pantheon early. Maybe not in some of those early Prio advantages, but otherwise, and now look, Viper is struggling.
Yeah, that bouncing bomb, lots of damage. And didn't have the ultimate No, so it wasn't quite off cooldown just yet, and so therefore Viper is allowed to live. Still had flash available, things like that. But let's check out this fight one more time.
I mean, yep, Realm Warp. Seems like massive advantage HLE, 4v2, but APA is rotating over. Realm Warp was used, but he can actually just come up here so quickly when they buy time with the Fate's Call and have the Pantheon. And then, yeah, you can hook Umpty, but he just doesn't care.
Yeah, and
he also tanky.
He also gets to jump back at the same time. So even though they displaced him, it wasn't enough to actually cause anything. So really nicely played from TL, getting them to 1 kill away from those feats of warfare.
This is looking really good for Team Liquid thus far. Big advantages almost everywhere. And with some of the lane swaps, Impact did take a little bit of the brunt of that. You can see he's a little bit behind Zeus, but again, we've always talked about how Cassante is a low eco champion, and with the advantages Team Liquid have, they may be able to start to snowball this game before Zeus really comes online. Looking for that level 11 first as Umpty's lurking.
Yeah, Umpty is behind enemy lines right now. I wonder whether, now that he's been in North America for a while, he's got a good Owen Wilson impression. As Peanut going to be pushed away, but I don't think loses out on that one. Flash used by Viper here to avoid the handshake. And Umpty and Peanut just continuing to fight. Smite going to be utilized there as Umpty just dives on top. And these health bars were already low. Peanut in trouble, and he's dead again!
This is looking really rough here for Hanwha Life Esports. Another kill goes over to Team Liquid here. Not picked up by Yun, unfortunately, for TL, but still taking the jungler out of the map again. And despite having a farm lead here, Peanut is just not able to make the same impact as this Pantheon can. This time not even about the global, just utilizing that lane prio so incredibly well. And Team Liquid is so known for intelligent macro plays, great lane swaps, right? People were saying after that had been removed from the game, we wouldn't see too much of that, but they still swapped, albeit late. They're playing the map incredibly well. And yes, Impact is taking the brunt of this because he has no resources here, and this is giving Zeus some free scaling, and he's just getting through the laning phase for free. But that might not be enough later on when the Yun is starting to get big, APA is getting bigger, and Umpty is just making plays everywhere as they get more plays topside.
Zeus might kill Impact here, though. This could be a bit of a problem as Impact trying to get himself away, but he's still skewered, and Zeus grabs the kill. Yun going to be moving down here, looking to try and grab some revenge for his top laner. As Delight now, they get dove on. I think Zeus might be dead, ladies and gentlemen. Does have divine intervention, but sometimes even the gods cannot save you, and Yun going to be able to pull those sticks out, and that's going to grab that kill. Peanut could be in trouble as well as Yun is dancing around with that martial poise. Grabs a double now on this Kalista, and that satchel's gorgeous! Never doubt APA Ziggs, as they're able to grab a triple kill for the hard carry of this team.
Such an incredible start here for Team Liquid. And even though it looked like it was looking very good there for Zeus, setting up that play bottom side with Delight, Impact does end up getting taken down, but it takes so long in order to do so. Look at where Yun is with Core JJ on the map. They're running down the river, and yes, Impact will die here, and his flash doesn't end up saving him. Feels bad, but now, okay, you're a little bit outnumbered. Peanut and Viper are coming down, but it takes so long for them to arrive. It's just the tempo advantage here with the prio they have. Also, don't forget, APA has teleport, so in this longer fight, you can actually just TP his way down here, and Hanwha Life Esports are overpriced into this play. Meanwhile,
and Delight is dead. So Core JJ, the one to grab that one. 4-0-2 now for Yun as well. And this Kalista now with Blade of the Ruin King completed. TL are in so much control in this game. It is close to a 3,000 gold lead, now looking to augment what they have already by taking down some of these structures, grabbing themselves some dragons. One more objective, and they will be able to grab the feats of strength outright.
It's crazy TL didn't draft like this yesterday. This is what we were all asking for. Play for prio, play for the map.
And they even got the Ziggs, and then it was Yun playing it.
I know. And this is why everyone's like, why isn't APA playing it?
Yeah.
Watch him play it.
And we're still even more quizzical because now that he is playing it, it's looking great.
Yes. And I mean, look.
Oh, and it's a Cloud Soul.
It's a Cloud Soul.
It's my day today. As, all right, Zeka is going to get pushed into APA. Mega Inferno Bomb comes down. It's a fair bit of damage onto Delight, but that is going to be the ulti, and Delight should just die here as Umpty just combos him down. Zeka could be in trouble now as well as Core JJ comes through. The handshake is going to be landed, but Umpty is in turret range, does manage to walk out as Peanut A little bit anemic at this point in time. Zeka unable to walk up, but still throwing the spell flux through.
Yun's here.
Oh, okay. Zeka actually taking a lot of damage now, trying to realm warp his way out. Will be able to escape for now and takes Peanut with him.
My God, that was so close. Zeka just barely gets his way out of that one. Super close to being another kill, going over to this 4-kill Callista. But even still, things looking dire. Viper tried to ult in there and pick up one of those kills because he so desperately needs a cash in, but he's not able to secure it. And that's really the big issue for me here. Beyond all the other small things, the big advantage that TL have picked up is the Raven hasn't died yet, right? We saw yesterday with Callista playing it, if you end up getting taken out multiple times in the game, you can never really come online. You're never really relevant. He hasn't died yet, but he just is put so far on the back foot throughout this entire game. And while TL are winning on the map constantly with plays like this, you're just never necessarily going to find that opportunity. As you can see here, his ult misses. He's able to secure a kill with it. Perhaps you feel really good about this as Hanwha Life. Instead, it's just once again a 2 steps forward and maybe 2 steps forward and maybe 3 steps back.
Well, you can see Zeus has made it to level 11, which is a pretty scary time for the Kayle, but 1 versus 2, not going to be able to do too much. You can see when he does get some auto attacks off, it is very, very scary. And the more we sort of ignore the fact that this Kayle exists, the more existing she is going to do.
That's true.
So we'll just have to remember to keep our eye on what Zeus is getting up to. Remember, this is our second T1 top lane, or former T1 top lane battle that we have here.
That's true.
In Zeus versus Impact.
With Kana happening just yesterday.
Yep.
And this feels very Khan-esque to just pull out the Kayle in a game like this.
Yeah.
If you've been watching Khan back in his older days, especially his time on D+ Kia, where some shenanigans did ensue, but he hits level 11, has his Rage Blade online, and is looking to start to become a big terror, but we're not there just yet. And the problem is the map is slowly fading away, you know? You can hide behind turret and farm for a while until your turrets disappear.
And you also often want to hide behind tank in teamfight as well, and they don't have any of those. So
no.
how the game is going to play out for HLE later in the game is something we'll have to find out later in the game, because I have no idea how they're going to make it work.
Peanut really wants to stick this Rift Herald here. It's a bit risky, especially with APA here. Zeka finally does come down. Remember, if Viper commits to the fight and dies, getting the Rift Herald will never be worth it.
Well, Umpty has found Viper. Zion's going to get pulled back. The Bone Skewer going to be working really nicely. He does have a blast going to get himself out of the way, as the MasterCard lane economy snapshot showing us that Yun is in a great spot, but maybe not right now, as not going to get slowed down. So Zeus missing that one after the flash feels pretty bad. Hi, Umpty. How you doing? Just wanted his presence to be known. That is going to give away the Rift Herald to Peanut.
So really, unfortunately, at least Yun gets away. But they wanted to win the fight topside there. A little bit disjointed from Team Liquid. Oh dear, Delight.
Yeah, there's the flash. Bone Skewer comes on through. APA respecting the undertow. Gets out of the way immediately. Rift Herald does go down as Umpty wants a little bit more. Zeus pushing on this turret. That is going to be a dead outer in the mid lane.
Now the gold's even.
Yeah.
In fact, Hanwha with a slight lead.
Oh dear, Umpty able to get out of the way of the Bone Skewer this time. There is still a turret that's up and available. Peanut's coming down. Teleported is not going to be enough as Delight delivers a bunch of money over to his teammates. Mega Inferno Bomb coming down. Delight taking some damage from that one. As Zeus also a little worse for wear. It should be that HLE can get themselves out.
They end up getting the mid turret. They end up getting the Herald right after that skirmish.
And that's going to give HLE the gold lead as well.
Yeah, exactly. So they take a gold lead. It's pretty significant now as well. All they need to really take back control of this game is for that cash-in to happen for Viper, you know? And still a ways away from that.
Peanut just took a whole lot of damage on his way in. Went through all of the mines as well. As great handshake as APA should be able to take him down, but the divine intervention onto Peanut. They just wait it out. He does eventually die. I don't know whether that bailout is going to necessarily work as Delight. He's just slinked into stealth, and he'll be okay as well, as Core JJ just wanted to walk this one off. Handshake going to connect, but so does the Bone Skewer, as Viper really wanting to grab another one, but no need to be greedy. He already managed to cash in those adoration stacks, and that gold advantage to the tune of 1,000 now. Make that close to 2 as they take another turret.
Now Viper in a really good spot here now. If they can get through this mid game, as now this Raven is going to be a bit of a threat. I mean, look at the gold difference. It was 1,500 before for Yun. Now it's dropped down to 500. It's a big cash in, and Viper is really going to be, for Hanwha Life Esports, the way back in. And because of the Kayle composition, kind of like Bailout. Like, basically, Kale is Rel in this situation and can make him in team fights so difficult to kill. He can just run you down, and it can be quite challenging to space against this, especially with a fairly low-range composition like what TL have, as the Ziggs can poke, but won't be able to kind of kite away in team fights. As we watch this one more time, TP comes through from the Kale here, and it's to hook onto APA. Bailout isn't really all too helpful with the Ziggs, unfortunately, because he doesn't do a lot.
APA is dead. So is Zeka, though. Never mind. Maybe not, as Umpty wanted to grab that stun once again, but Peanut says no, not today, and maybe he's just going to die. Instead, he's got the spear. Then he's able to take down Zeka. Now trying to taxi his way out to these Krogs as Peanut really wants to get that Vault Breaker back. He gets underneath the turret, but the stun is almost back up, and Umpty will survive.
Viper.
The whirling death. They should be able to communicate this. And so Umpty just continues walking, and the General will survive once again.
Getting out with his life here. Taking stock, though.
Oh.
Team Liquid.
All right, CoreJJ spots him out here as Yun is their target. Delight diving forward as well. Cease and desist goes down. Barrier is decent. Has the bailout, but it's not enough. And it's another kill and a shutdown to Zeus. Oh dear, this Kale is going to be a problem if she wasn't already. That's 2 kills. He's got 3 on the board now. And he's 3.6 thousand gold ahead.
Yeah, he had a pretty significant lead from the early parts of the game over Impact, because Impact was just kind of sitting down, had no resources. But it's starting to get huge. This is going to be Otacon going over to Hanwha Life Esports as well. There's just no way to contest this. And man, TL had so many leads. They had such a great early game, but a few small mistakes around the map, and Hanwha Life just strike back again. And it's not the first time this tournament we've seen Hanwha Life struggle in the early game and just be the better team later and outplay. And that group up there behind the Dragon Pit ended up being a bit of a disaster. This is moments before when APA ends up getting solo killed by Zeka.
Oh dear, yeah.
He's got the shield.
And the phase rush means that Mega Inferno Bomb does not land. And I thought that Zeka was going to immediately die. Thankfully he does eventually. But this is all just a lot of stuff happening all over the map.
Yeah.
And for these 1-for-1 trades, then just slowly but surely Kale reaching critical mass.
Yeah, and the more important replay I feel is what happened right after that, right? Behind the Dragon Pit where TL getting caught, Kale getting so much gold, and Zeus is such a huge threat already.
Yeah.
And once he hits 16, I mean, it's almost lights out, you know?
And it's already sort of feeling like that as Yun is underneath the turret. The Rend not enough to take down Viper, but he is pushed away from this turret. And Zeka, I don't know about that position. That's hyper-aggressive, but he's got the Divine Intervention. And Cease and Assist on top of Yun will be the demise of him. Zeus now going to be the focus zone. He'll get shut down as Impact trying to get aggressive, and now Delight. He's hitting the resets. His health bar is so low, but Umpty cannot get in range, and Viper gets another one. Umpty knew he wanted to kill. Will be able to take him down, but he's still going to lose the fight ultimately. And HLE, they grab an ace, and now what are they going to collect? Not a lot on the map right now, but they should be able to grab this inner turret.
It's a tragedy for Team Liquid after such a great start. Look at this ward behind Team Liquid. They commit so heavily. They're trying to take Viper out, and they get so their eyes are way too big for the stomach here. Look at this teleport flank here. As Zeka comes in with a Realm Warp, the Berserk comes in, but look at this ult from Peanut. The carries are just taken out right away.
And the melee range Kale as he flashes to be the savior of his mid laner. That was absolutely beautiful from Zeus.
And if TL would play it a little bit slower, I don't think Hanwha Life could necessarily punish the same way as Delight gives a clap. But if you just play it slow, you're starting to lose control of this game. The Kale is scaling. Zeus is getting to be such a... I mean, he is frankly already a menace, but it doesn't get easier. So you feel priced into making a play like that, trying to kill...
How is it a 7,000 gold lead?
Well, I mean, there have been a lot of snowbally fights that Hanwha Life Esports have run away with. And taking objectives, too.
Oh, man. Immediate flash from APA. That is a lot of respect, as Delight is instilling fear in his opposition. Umpty, not as scared, as we can see here. Running pretty quickly, but, yeah. Fast running is something that a Pyke can certainly do. Impact going to get pushed away here by Peanut. And so not going to have any weird deaths at this point in time, but TL really need to make something happen.
And they tried to kill Viper. They tried to make something happen in the mid lane just moments ago. It all went wrong. And they're trying again to try to push for that advantage.
Yep, some question marks here from Yun as they're playing protect the president as best they can. Fate's call to try and save Core JJ as Viper. He's going to be cleansing. Zeus currently untouched as there's the ultimate from Core JJ, but it doesn't quite do enough. Peanut dead yet again, but Zeus is free hitting Umpty, just trying to get him out of here, trying to zone. And I don't know whether it's necessarily working because Divine Intervention is on HLE's side and it's Reset City for Delight. APA has to run himself out of there, and HLE yet another team fight win.
Zeus just once again takes all the aggro and then presses R.
Oh no, the Pierce is gonna go wide.
Oh, it's again a tragedy here. Zeus is 16. And I mean, at this point, that might have been TL's last chance to take a big fight. You know, I don't know if they get another opportunity like that, but just wasn't as coordinated as it needed to be, and the lead is just too big here for Hanwha Life. They played the map incredibly well, but the team fights have been so good. And you see, once again, TL are pushing, trying to use their wave clear in mid lane to set up a pick. Impact comes in on the flank here. Viper cleanses and backs away. Look at how much damage Core JJ has taken here. His ult also pretty low impact. And Zeus is just ready to come in here and start ripping through people. Zeka buys time, and then they turn on to Zeus, but Zeus just is like, I press R. I don't care. You can't kill me. And yes, Yun survives, but he can't get back in there. The fight is done.
Yeah. And yep, the damage deal is surviving, but they have no way to actually do the damage. Just because if they walk in range to do so, Kale's in range, and so you're dead. Is kind of how that one worked, and we did see that as Yun was picked off just after that replay had occurred. And just to do a bit of a Zeus check, it's currently 4,100 gold that he has in advantage. That is close to half just the overall gold lead for HLE
he finished
at this point in time.
Void Staff and then grabbed a needlessly large rod.
That's not a bad back.
Yeah, needlessly large lead
yes.
is kind of how I would describe the matchup here. As naturally, you know, you should be able to get that advantage into a Cassante in isolation, but it's just been the team fights where Hanwha Life Esports have swept the floor with some overextensions from TL. And for now, I mean, trying to group on Baron and forcing a turn. I mean, the comp does have fantastic turn. This might be the best thing that TL could do here is to try to force Hanwha Life to respond and look for a good turn. They've got the Sentinel here. They've got good vision on the entryway.
Yeah, Peanut actually trying to escape that vision as we can see Whirling Death just to soften them up as Delight finds himself yet another Bone Skewer. And, oh man, into the bouncy castle goes APA. Viper gets the Divine Intervention. He's frontlining. That's their tank. Their tank is a Kale ultimate. As down goes Cassante. Impact lying on the ground, as is Core JJ, and it's a triple for this Kale that is now entirely out of control. Yun able to avoid the Bone Skewer, but not able to do enough damage to Delight to kill him, as Zeka is just walking forward like the orange tank that represents Hanwha Life Esports. And now I think they may just be done with game one. It was such a weird drop. It was such a poor start for HLE. But unfortunately for TL fans, it was not enough to stop them from winning.
Not enough. Hanwha Life Esports with a massive comeback win here on the back of this. Kale from Zeus, another pick for him here in 2025. We haven't seen him play it just yet, but he played it incredibly well. Playing as the tank, his ultimate really made anyone unkillable at the right possible moment.
We worked it out. I'm so glad that we worked it out in the end, exactly how this composition was supposed to work. But now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to go to a break. Thankfully, TL not out of it just yet, but they have to win 2 more games. After the break, it will be the space, and then we'll have that game number 2.